She's running a campaign based on the idea she's not Trump. And that is not enough.
Ben, how much of this is attributable, would you say, to Trump getting back on the straight and narrow? He hasn't insulted anybody lately. He hasn't, sort of gone too far off script.
He's clearing that low bar, basically. Yes, younger voters who had been a key aspect of Barack Obama's coalition, those were the same voters who were really excited to vote for Bernie Sanders. They're a lot less excited to vote for Hillary Clinton. And I think as Donald Trump becomes more acceptable and looks less and less like some world-ending disaster could he become president, then I think those voters have less of a reason to go out and force themselves to vote for someone about whom they've been very skeptical. And when they look at her, they see someone who really does represent the policies of the past.
It doesn't look like, Tucker, Gary Johnson's little, flub on Syria and Aleppo. Is he playing here? If this comes down to a tight contest in critical states like Ohio, does Gary Johnson staying in this race help Trump or help Clinton?
Well, I don't think the Aleppo thing hurts him for a really simple reason. If you're a libertarian candidate, the whole point of your candidacy is you don't care about Aleppo. You're a libertarian. So it seems pretty obvious that he's drawing mostly from her voters, from disaffected Bernie voters who don't want to vote for Hillary Clinton. I think this is all a surprise, though, to the left because they have too much contempt for Trump. They consider Trump so morally unacceptable that they never really took him seriously. And they made a series of pretty dumb decisions, as you always do when you don't take your opponent seriously.
Didn't they learn in the Republican primary process that it's a mistake to underestimate him? The question I have for you, Ben, though, is now he's evening things out. It was like this, and now he's still behind, but he's evening it out. And now we're on the eve of 3 presidential debates. And so if you're Trump, Ben, at this point, do you go in there and be presidential Trump? Or do you, throw some haymakers to try to change things?
I think he has to stay who he is and go in there and throw some haymakers. And to the point that Tucker was just making, I think we shouldn't ignore the factor that the media has played. Over the course of the past couple of weeks, they've been hammering at Trump. Most members of the media who've been water carriers for the Clintons for years, they've been very defensive about her and really engaged in a lot of gaslighting behavior that, suggested that concerns about her health were, completely conspiratorial, things of that nature. I think that's helped Trump, because it makes people are sick of hearing this from the media. They've heard it about every Republican candidate going back for more than a decade. They're sick of it. They don't pay attention to it anymore. And they're very dismissive of it. And I think that's only going to help him, especially if he goes into these debates and has a very solid performance.
The thing with it, it's happened repeatedly. There's a reason people have honesty questions about her and character questions about him. But in her case, the Benghazi situation, remember for all those months, and the administration, including her secretary, her State Department was telling us they had nothing to do with those talking points, nothing. They didn't touch those talking points that said this is about a video. And then it came out that they had been completely manipulating that. It was like time and time again, they have told us one thing only to have to reverse themselves or to be proven wrong. And it was overheating, and there was nothing wrong with her. And then it's like, well, she has pneumonia. She got a CAT scan. She got an X-ray. Anyway, we're going to talk about health in a minute. Great to see you both.
Good to be with you.
Some explosive reporting this week about Donald Trump's charity foundation.
You'll be the oldest person to ever enter the Oval Office. Why do you think you have the stamina for the job?
The letter. This is a typical Democrat distraction. When Hillary has a health problem, then they start asking questions about Donald Trump's health. When Hillary has a lying problem, then they try to find a lie that Donald Trump told. Whenever Hillary has a problem with what decisions she made relative to some countries that created chaos around the world, then they try to tie Donald Trump to Putin. This is a typical Democrat distraction. Nothing is wrong with Donald Trump's health. Look,
Herman,
I'm 70 years old.
Oh, I'm coming to you in 1 minute, Roland.
Let me finish. Let me finish, Roland. I'm 70 years old. 10 years ago, I had cancer, and I'm still here. 4 years ago, when I ran for president, my doctor issued a statement that said I am free and clear. The Democrats are trying to make an issue out of Donald Trump's health when there is no issue.
Okay,
that's
go ahead,
all
Roland.
this is about.
Go ahead.
Precisely.
I do agree, Megan, that, and I do agree with Roland, which is unusual, that yes, the American public needs to know.
That means you're wrong a lot.
No. This is only the one time I agree with you. Look, yes, the American people deserve to know what the health is of the candidates running. I do agree with that, but Journalists that just graduated from journalism school aren't qualified to look at detailed medical records. This is why I believe that if the doctors, let me finish, if the doctors issue a letter that is based upon their expertise and their knowledge, I'm fine with that.
You know what, but seriously, let me ask you, Syrians coming into the United States, that's just ahead, along with a reporter who broke major news this week on Donald Trump's charitable foundation. His first time on Fox. Don't miss this. Next.
Megyn, my understanding is that his career given away close to $100 million. Whether he designated it as being from him
nothing over
or
the past
anonymous,
8 years?
Does that matter? Here's the reality, Megyn.
But let's just hope that your understanding is 100%, because that guy is doing the reporting, and the facts do not suggest. They suggest he's
by her to her campaign's leadership council. Are you kidding me, Megyn? He's a politician, not a prosecutor. When she's down for an 8 count, he says, what can I do politically to try to salvage her campaign? And he jumps in with something like this. It's absolutely outrageous, especially in light of the fact that when the Clinton Foundation scandal came around with respect to issues of foreign donations, she had to disclose those hundreds of millions of dollars of foreign donations.
He wasn't
she
as
failed
interested.
to do so. And
okay, wait, I got to go, but I have to